Hi guys and welcome to another Fool of the Week. This week's Fool is the ex-Reform UK MP turned independent Rupert Lowe. Now Rupert had a falling out with Nigel Farage some months back, but it seems that he's following in his old boss's footsteps by grabbing a pair of binoculars, heading down to the beach and looking for boats. And it seems he found one, but then ended up with some egg on his face. Have a listen to this.
Rupert Lowe, who was elected as Reform UK MP, now sits as an independent, tweeted yesterday, "Dinghies coming into Great Yarmouth right now. Authorities alerted. I am urgently chasing." He also included a picture of the boat close to the North Norfolk coast. Well, after the Coast Guard had confirmed the vessel was not a migrant boat, Mr. Lowe said the incident was a false alarm and he would donate £1,000 to the Rowers campaign, which is raising money for motor neuron disease. He said, "I make no apologies over being vigilant for my constituents."
Okay. A few things to say about this. First of all, if you're a hammer, all you ever see is a nail. If you're a racist gammon, if you see a seagull, if you see a rowing boat, no, you see instead a dinghy full of migrants. Okay, some other things to say about this. Rupert Lowe claims here that he was just standing up for his constituents. But unfortunately for Rupert Lowe, according to certain data I've seen, Rupert Lowe spends about 70 to 80% of his time as an MP talking about immigration and about 20% of his time talking about the issues facing his constituents. So his job as an MP is supposed to be to represent his constituents, but he spends more time banging on about immigration. Now, another problem here is he represents the constituency of Great Yarmouth, but that constituency is more or less, depending on where you look, it's about 200 miles from Dover. 200 miles from Dover. So how could Rupert Lowe see a dinghy in the sea? How could he see a boat and say, well, that's probably a dinghy, if it's 200 miles from Dover? It doesn't make any sense. Like, are there cases that maybe some boats have drifted up as far as there? Yes, it's possible. Maybe some people were off course, they didn't know where to land and they ended up in Great Yarmouth, but it's highly unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely. So he doesn't spend much time talking about his constituency, but now he's claiming, I'm just standing up for my constituents. If he was in Dover looking out with his binoculars, it's possible that he saw a dinghy full of migrants and he reported this to the authorities. Now, another thing is he's made a donation to the charity, which is a good thing. Kudos to Rupert for doing that. That was an honourable thing to do, the right thing to do. But no apology to the Coast Guard. Now, he could have made a donation to the Coast Guard or to the British government or whoever is responsible here, but he's decided not even to apologise. Now, while this is stupid, it's also potentially dangerous. Because while Rupert Lowe won't apologise, and he may do it again, others like him, and like Nigel Farage, will be convinced, well, maybe we should be doing the same. We should grab a pair of binoculars, head down to the beach and look for dinghies full of migrants. And the dangerous part here is that there could be a situation where somebody is in distress in the sea, somebody's boat is sinking, there is a risk of drowning, and they don't receive the support they need from the authorities because they're off looking for dinghies. Non-existent ones. So Rupert Lowe, by right, should apologise, and he should also do the right thing as an MP and discourage this type of behaviour. He should come out and say, I'm sorry, I was stupid, this was a stupid thing to do. We should make sure that the authorities get the support they need, and we should not engage in ridiculous behaviour like this. But of course, he won't even apologise, and he'd be probably doing this in a week's time. He wants some attention again. He sees that now that he's no longer a member of Reform, and Reform are growing in the polls, that he's been left behind. He had a lot of support from Elon Musk there last year, but that's all sort of disappeared, or earlier this year, that's all disappeared. So he's desperate for some attention, and he doesn't seem to care if it puts people's lives at risk. And this potentially could do that, because if the Coast Guard are out looking for dinghies, they may miss somebody who is in real distress. And that's why he's our Fool of the Week.